Hey movie fans, and welcome to another Fan Vote Friday. One of you picked a very relevant topic today, with the top 5 best sequels that are better than the original movies. I say this is relevant because next week we got that kind of big-ish movie with Avengers: Age of Ultron. I don't know if you guys are going to see that or not. It doesn't look that great or anything. But it begs the question of, is it going to be better than the box office smash that was Avengers? We'll find out. Yes, I know we get a lot of sequels these days, but in the rare circumstances, like the ones you're about to see, sometimes sequels can be even better than their original counterparts. Kicking us off at number 5, we have Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. Now, it really isn't that hard to be that much better than Star Trek 1. It is arguably one of the worst Star Trek movies, and it's just an all-around bad film. But insert Ricardo Montalban's Khan Noonien Singh, arguably like the most terrifying villain in the Star Trek universe. It's a great movie. It's a huge step up from the boring, dull Star Trek the motion picture. It's just action-packed. It's fun. It really is what JJ just basically took like half of Star Trek Into Darkness and got it from Wrath of Khan, except Wrath of Khan I think is the better movie. Wrath of Khan also has one of the saddest but most emotionally packed endings ever, with, spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie yet, with Spock dying by exposing himself to radiation to like save the ship, basically. It was a huge sacrifice that no one really saw coming and really raised stakes, just like a good sequel should. At number 4, we have Spider-Man 2. No, not that Spider-Man 2, that's the bad Spider-Man 2. The real Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2. This is arguably the best Spider-Man movie we've gotten so far. But I do think Disney will provide a really good one with their partnership with Sony coming up. Hopefully we hear who that Spider-Man will be in the very near future. Supposedly the list is narrowing down. This Spider-Man is amazing. The first Spider-Man was good, but a little over-the-top cheesy. But it embraced that cheesiness, and it was still really fun. I always credit Spider-Man and the first X-Men for really making people believe that superhero movies could be a viable blockbuster after the devastating movie that was Batman and Robin made people turn away from the comic book genre for a little bit. Spider-Man 2 made people stay in the comic book genre. It was fantastic, and I really credit that to Alfred Molina's Doc Ock. He was fantastic. He's the best Spider-Man villain I think we've seen so far. Just overall, the story took it in a much darker direction, which it needed to. It addressed more mature things. Not necessarily bad things, but more mature things. It was a great balanced movie with a lot of great action. That train scene, the monorail subway thingy, the form of transportation chase scene. That's what all chase scenes need to be called now. The form of transportation chase. It'll catch on someday. I know that. That scene is just mind-blowing. One of the most adrenaline-fueled scenes that I've seen in an action movie in quite a long time, and I've not seen anything like it since. At number 3, we have Back to the Future Part 2. Me, personally, I love 2 the most because they really use the time travel element to its full potential, going to 3 different time zones. Time zones? Time eras? What do you call different sections in time? Well, leave that in the comments below. But this movie really just used time travel to its full potential. It was fun, but it was dark. When he goes to an alternative 1985, that's weird and it's twisted. It's a big step in a different direction from the fun, joyous Back to the Future Part 1. But it still had that fun vibe. You still felt like you were on some great adventure with Marty and Doc. Yet it was still darker. And who didn't want that future that we saw in 2015? Oh, yeah. That's not gonna happen, is it? We're not gonna get flying cars by this October, are we? Back to the Future 2 far surpasses the original in my mind by using time travel so effectively and not getting bogged down in the details of, well, if this happened, then this wouldn't happen. They tried to keep it, for the most part, simple. Now, with time travel movies, yeah, it's still going to get really complicated and convoluted at times, but Back to the Future Part 2 was a lot of fun. Got dark, but not too dark. Just the right amount of dark that you want in a sequel, while keeping mature themes, yet a lot of fun, a lot of good humor, and a lot of good one-liners. At number 2, we have a movie that really established a pop culture icon, and that is T2 Judgment Day. This is the movie that made Arnold Schwarzenegger like the iconic action action hero that he was. A lot of people kind of forget these days that he started off as a bad guy. The Terminator was a bad guy in the first one. Now we more think about him protecting John Connor or the whole Connor family at some point or another against the T-1000 or whatever other T's would come later. He was originally a bad guy. It wasn't until T2 where he fights the T-1000 that he becomes the good guy, and ultimately one of the best reversals of a character I've ever seen. It was a nice reversal seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger be the good guy. Now that's basically how we know the Terminator character. He's a good guy, even though in the first one that was completely not the case. It completely changed the formula from the very first movie in the best possible way, but kept that same fun and vibe. And that's what you want in a sequel. You want it to acknowledge what happened before, but far surpass that. And Terminator 2 really did that with groundbreaking visual effects that still hold up today. Great chase scene, pretty good one-liners from Arnold, which kind of springboarded his career of cheesy one-liners. Yeah, 1 was a great movie and one of the best action movies of all time, but it was T2 that decided to turn Arnold into a hero and made him more recognizable in the pop culture atmosphere, and really a great franchise overall. And now, our number 1, the best sequel that surpassed the original, was The Dark Knight. Batman Begins gave new life to the Batman franchise by having a new director, new taste to Batman. Instead of the cheesiness, we get more of the dark and serious. And that was a great first start. But once you had that stepping stone, director Christopher Nolan took it up 100-fold with The Dark Knight, a modern-day masterpiece in my mind. I know a lot of people trip over themselves to give this movie praise, and I myself am one of them, but that's because this movie is fantastic. The performances are incredible. Heath Ledger did a phenomenal job as the Joker, but he was surrounded by an equally great cast, like Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon. The really understated Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent. No one really talks about that performance, even though they really should. And I know people rant about Christian Bale's Batman voice, but I don't think it's that bad. It could be a lot worse. But this movie, as the name suggests, it's a very dark movie, as a Batman movie should be, but not too dark. Looking at you, Zack Snyder. Yeah, I saw that Batman v Superman trailer. Come on, man. The Dark Knight is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I didn't think it would be able to live up to the hype of Batman Begins, because I loved Batman Begins, which is essentially Ninja Batman, the movie. But it did, and then some. And as I keep watching it, it just keeps getting better. The subtleties, the themes, the storytelling. It's a phenomenal movie that somehow managed to surpass the original, and that's saying something. The Dark Knight showed that sequels can, if given enough care and dedication, can in fact be better than their original counterparts. What do you guys think? What are some sequels that you think are better than the originals? Let me know in the comments below. And if you think I missed some, it might be because I like the original more so than the sequel, or this, that, and the other thing. So let me hear it in the comments below if you think I'm way off base. And as always, if you like what you see and you want to see more, subscribe to the channel. Just click anywhere in this general vicinity, or find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 17 Movie Reviews. Stay sharp, movie guys and gals.